the first Z I ever saw, because like in Aberdeen, it's a small town. Like there's, I guess you could say it's like a tri-city kind of thing, because there's Hoquiam, there's Aberdeen, and then there's another little town called Causey. It's all like one big town. But I would walk from like downtown Aberdeen, because we lived in some apartments when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I would walk quarter mile to school, if that or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's this hill. It's like where the wealthier people live, you know. And there's these apartments, Broadway apartments. I'll never forget. It's this giant red brick building, and that's when I saw my first Z. It was a maroon 2+2 NA automatic. I didn't know any of that then. And then like years later, seeing it again, I was like, I know exactly what that is. But I saw it and I was like, that's cool. You know, in my mind, it was like the Lamborghini or some shit, right?
Yeah.
You know, it was dope.
The headlights, oh shit.
Yeah, dude, hell yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna have one of those one day.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see it move until like, I was in the 3rd grade, because I was walking to my elementary school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why. Fast forward 2016, 2017, I think. The guy that owned it actually posted on Project Z32. I was looking up that. He was like, hey, I'm originally from Aberdeen. I live in Utah now, but these are my cars. And I saw the car and I was like, no way. Dude, no fucking way. You know, and I was like, hey, I know that car. I used to walk to school every day, and I saw the car, and I was like, one day I'm going to have one. And at that point, I think I was on like number 20 or so of like Z's that I've had. Yeah. And he was like, you're kidding. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, that was the car. I remember it, you know? And we started talking. He's like, it's actually really cool that, he's like, my car inspired you to get into this. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, it's crazy that I actually got to meet the guy that owned the car. I think he had like three other Z's after that. Yeah. And so the gray one that I have now was actually his, but he ended up passing away a few years ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And his twin brother actually found my wife on Facebook and was like, hey, I'm looking for Ochoa. He and my brother talked, and I guess he knows these cars in and out, you know, and he sent the picture, and I was like, dude, that's Mike's car. Yeah. You know? And so Nini's like, I guess this is his twin brother, you know? Okay, cool. Like, yeah, well, how can I help you? What can I do? Yeah. The car died on him because he drove it back from Utah after his brother passed away. Died on him in the Dales. It was like an $1,100 tow bill back to Aberdeen. Stupid, man.
That's far.
I think we went back and forth on price for a while because he wanted to sell it. Because he was like, dude, I don't drive it. He owns a Corvette. You know, it's like the Batmobile to him. Yeah. He loves the thing, dude. He's like, it was my brother's car. I guess the gentleman that built the car himself in Utah sold it to Mike. And he wanted to buy the car off of Mark, which was his twin brother. Yeah. And he was like, well, I don't know, man. He's like, I'll send a tow truck up there right now. And he's like, well, there's this other person down here that wants to buy it. And he's got some history with my brother, you know? Yeah. And so we ended up going back and forth on the price a little bit. And finally, it was like, look, I need to get rid of the car. It's just sitting here. It's rotting away. What can you do? And I was like, I don't know, $6,000? Okay, when? And this was like last July, I think. Yeah. And he's like, when? I was like, September 25th. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Just
I don't know what I gotta do, bro. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
Okay. He's like, I'll wait for you until then. If you don't pick it up that day, the other guy's gonna come and pick it up. Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right. And it came down, dude. It came down to like the last week, and I was like, I'm $2,000 short. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Yeah. And my wife always told me, she's like, you wait till the last minute to like round up the money you need to like make payments or, you know, like bills or whatever.
Pay, yeah.
Like, yeah, because I know I can make more. Like, if I'm not doing car shit, I'm working out in the woods or I'm landscaping, you know, or I don't know, I'm selling shit off of Amazon on the street. Whatever, dude. Like, I can make money. I know how to. Yeah. And, dude, that week I pulled $2,000 out of my ass. I don't even remember what I did. Yeah. I showed up and I was like, Mark, I have your money. I'll be there in like an hour, you know?
Just give me time at this point.
He's
I
like,
got money.
Cool, I have a title for you. Awesome.
Sick.
You know, showed up, bought the car from him. I fixed a couple things since then. The latest thing to go out was the boost controller. So I'm like on low boost, but I mean, the fucking car still rails. Yeah. You know?
Oh, yeah.
But I did exhaust. I put my wheels on it. Cleaned it up a little bit. We did the fuel pump wiring for it, you know. Originally, the car's built to handle, supposedly, 700 horsepower.
Ooh, damn.
You know, 1,000cc injectors, it's tuned for 85, dual fuel pump setup, you know, the works.
Yeah. What engine management system are you running?
It's stock right now. It's
stock,
on some,
really?
It's like an aftermarket Motes tuner.
Oh,
what it
okay.
is, so you can select the tune on it.
Yeah.
It's got like a valet mode, a low boost on 93 octane, a high boost on 93 octane, and then the E85 tunes, which I still haven't done. Like I haven't ran the car in E85.
Yeah, you haven't even tried it yet.
No, my uncle bought he bought like a 2021 Ford Roush, an F-150, you know, like 600 horsepower out the box or whatever. And I took the long way to the shop. Was out there. It's like rural roads, kind of like the drive here.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw these bright lights coming up fast, and I was like, "Who the fuck?
Are you training me?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then I see it's my uncle, and I was like, "Oh shit! Fourth gear, still not pulling away. Third gear, you know, like okay."
Yeah.
And now we're doing like high boost. Let's see what it can do, you know. And it's set to like 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Dude, I went from third until fourth, and I like the straight stretch we had was over a mile long. That thing's scary. That car is fucking scary.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn.
And I just left him in the dust, and he was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I hit high boost, and I left you in
Car
the dust."
just dipped. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I was like, my $6,000 jalopy just put your, $80,000 truck to shame. I don't know what to tell you.
Damn, that sucks.
So he's a little butthurt, but
Yeah.
it's all in good fun.
80K though. Could get spanked by a 6,000 30-year-old car.
Yeah,
Like I bet that gets a lot of people mad.
yeah. I think I like the Z the most because people don't see him as often anymore.
I want to ask you, what kind of got you into wanting to open up your own shop? Like, be like, you know what, ZPlace. Like, where did the name come
Well,
from?
for the ZPlace obviously came from the 300ZXs, and for me having, man, dude, like my house is probably like maybe the size of this place, right? But I have like a fenced-in yard and shit.
Yeah.
I had 12 or 13 Z's
Jesus.
around my house. Like there was, I think 6 in the front, 2 in the driveway, 1 in the carport, 2 in the house, and then like 3 or 4 more in the backyard. Yeah, dude, it was out of hand. And it was like people knew I was getting into the Z's, you know. They're like, "Hey, this guy take the car off your hand," you know.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Hey, man, I got a Z for sale. You know, what do you think it's worth?" I don't know, nothing. Like whatever.
Yeah,
you know.
Free for me, give it to me.
Yeah, and people started getting rid of these parts cars, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, like I'll take it.
Yeah,
How
take
much?
them.
You know, $1,000, $500. Just come get it. Okay, I'll be right there."
Yeah.
And I have a couple other buddies that recently got into the Z's too, out there too.
Yeah.
And one night with my buddy Chris, we actually took his truck and we borrowed a trailer.
Yeah.
And there was this Z with no rear subframe in this lady's yard. She's like,
Damn.
"I got the sheriff to sign off on a
Pink.
yeah, it was like an abandoned title or whatever."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You can come get the car. Like, for free or?"
Yeah.
"Yeah, come get the thing, you know, whatever." I was like, "Damn, like I can't make it there till, I can't leave here till like 6. And I wouldn't make it there till like 10 or 11, you know,
Yeah.
at night. Because it's just a few hours away." And yeah, I showed up at this lady's house and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here to pick up the Z." "Oh, I actually came."
Okay.
"Yeah, like, take it or what?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, here's the paperwork, you know."
Yeah.
I was like, "Sweet, everything's in order." And then we looked at it and I was like, "We don't have a winch. We don't have a come along."
We didn't think this through.
Yeah, bro, I was like, "There's no rear wheels on the car. Oh, how do we do this?" And we had like a bottle jack and a ratchet strap. And we loaded the car up like that. And then once like half the car was up there, we took some, we had some blocks with us under the rear as like, just so it would slide up onto the trailer.
Yeah.
Once it was up there, we strapped it over the whole shell of the car and off we went because this is going to be a parts car, you know?
Yeah.
When we got to the shop, it had a one-piece aluminum drive shaft, what's that company? AMS downpipes, just some 4 bolts, you know. And it was like, there's some good parts on this thing.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, "Oh, well, somebody that they knew or whatever left the car there parked."
And just forgot about it.
Just forgot about it. She was like, "Going out of my yard."
Jesus.
"Okay, I'll go get it." We didn't get home till like 3 a.m. that night. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But
That's sick.
it's like each single Z that I've gotten has some sort of story. You know?
Behind it. What I've noticed is that a lot of people that get rid of them, or even just the older people now, or when I was buying cars, each had a story. Oh, I took a trip to Long Beach in this and came back with my family, or you know, with my wife, I bought this car with my wife, or this and that. And, you know, everybody has like their own little appreciation towards it. You know,
it's pretty dope. From when I graduated in 2012, I worked little jobs, you know, here and there, until I worked for a beach town out there called Seabrook. So it's like a new development.
Yeah.
And what did I do? I started off doing landscaping and just grunt work, you know. And then from there, I went to excavating and doing like all the work for like they would dig in new foundation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I went to work for the union.
Oh, okay.
Well, the union didn't work out for me, and I had finally gotten with my wife, who actually met because of the Z's. And I told her that day when I came home after my last day on the job, I was like, I'm done. I'm over it. I was like, I got into it with the operator and then my foreman, and they don't think I can make what I make with them. Because I was making like $1,200 a week with them, for the union.
Yeah.
Good money. But I was like, I hate my life. I don't want to go work for something and fucking hate it. Like I come home pissed off, and it's like a 2-hour drive home, and I'm still pissed by the time I get home.
Bro,
there's something wrong there.
That is something wrong.
And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna fix cars. Okay. Is that gonna pay the bills? We're gonna find out. And I was renting a space from a buddy of mine, his shop, his garage, and then at some point that didn't work out either, because you can only what's the saying in Spanish? Like, a los 3 días empieza
a molestar
or whatever,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that didn't work out. I went to my homie's house, to my other buddy, worked out of his garage for a little bit. We made some good side money. And then finally, my uncle's place it's like another hour from Aberdeen, but he had a big shop too. And that's actually, what's his name? Brad Dempsey, I think. He does BDE up in Puyallup. What does he make? Like motor mounts and all that stuff.
Oh, I know what
you're talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he owns a cabin up there, because it's Lake Quinault. It's a really nice resort area, and he owns a cabin up there. And so my uncle's shop was right off of 101, and I had a line of Z's. There's 14 cars on his property at one point, And he drove by, and he's like, he left a note on my uncle's door, and was like, hey, you have all these cars, you're out in the middle of bumfuck Egypt.
Yeah.
What are you doing with them?
Yeah.
And so my uncle passed me the note along, and I was like, hey, you left a note, I guess you're looking for me. And he's like, yeah, I'm so-and-so. You looking to get rid of any parts? Sure, what do you need? And we actually ended up losing touch with him after a while. But people would drive by and they're like, what the fuck is he doing with all these, And people would pull into my uncle's property. Finally was like, yo, you gotta do something.
You gotta do something about this.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, I remember some guy on the Northwest as well, the Northwest Finest. They're like, anybody that's into Z's just was driving down the road, and I found this shop, and everybody was telling you, Bryan Ochoa. That's his shop. That's his shop.
That was God, what was that page? It's one of the.
Or was it the Z? What was one of the Z pages?
It wasn't the Z page. It was one of the ones for the Portland area, because they were going out towards the beach or whatever. And they
wasn't it a drive?
I think so. Or they? No, I think they were going out to the beach out there. So it's a huge tourist area, I took pictures of it. People are tagging me, and I'm like, bro, this is getting out of hand.
Bro, stop.
I put up a fence or something,
Please stop.
Yeah.
This is my shop.
Everybody's tagging me. And it's funny you mentioned that, because we had an R32 sitting there for a while. It was just a shell. And people would drive by and they're like, this guy's got an R32 shell just sitting in there, just rotting away. And somebody stopped by and talked to me about it. They're like, hey, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
You fucking want it? You can buy it. We paid $700 for it.
R32 shell for $700.
Dude, it was stripped. It was stripped. It was bad. Yeah. It had some paperwork with it.
Like a fee to kind of just get rid of it, or what?
No, they had all the import paperwork for it, but they lost the title for it.
Oh.
So that's a huge mess. We were just going to turn it into a drift missile. But then we're like, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we just don't have time for this.
And there's a guy out there that he actually has a gray R32, and his buddy stopped by and talked to me about it. I was like, hey, yeah, I'll stop by on the way back, because he's going out to the beach too. And he's like, I'll take some pictures of it. Yeah, man, cool, whatever. We left. We took off, and I was like, you can come on the property. It's cool. And a few days later, somebody else posted the pictures and was like, oh, hey, I'm going to pick this up, blah, blah. And I was like, well, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, who the fuck are you? I didn't let you.
And he's like, well, who are you?
That's my shop.
You're on my fucking property without us being there. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, wait a minute. What did I just do?
Oh yeah.
So he messaged me and was like, "Hey, do you own the car?" I was like, "It's my buddy's car, but you're on our property and nobody was there. We've had issues with theft."
Yeah. What's going on?
Why are you trespassing? And he's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. My buddy Brian stopped by, and I was like, Brian Masters." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I talked to him.
Okay.
You should have started there. And
Instead
he's like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
But they ended up coming out on the weekend, I think, that same week, and picked it up. Really cool people, by the way, too. But he just wanted to make a drift car out of it too.
Hell yeah.
Because he already has the one that he dailies.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll just make a drift car out of this one.
Damn,
I was like, hell yeah, man.
Good ass deal for that.
But back to the how I started. my dad was renting this property from the person that owns it because he works out at Seabrook still at that beach that I was talking about, and I started renting it too. You know, I was like, yeah, we'll go houses on the rent, whatever. And finally, it came down to like, do you guys want to buy it?
Oh, opportunity.
Well, I was like, maybe. What's the cost? You know. And he's like, 60 grand, 8.7 acres. It's got 3 buildings. So it used to be an old, like an old shake mill. It's like, that's doable, you know. 60 grand for 8 acres. That's fucking cheap.
That's
like
giving
power's
away.
already ran to it. We have our own well. Like, sure, why not? I was like, how am I gonna make $1,000 a month? Like, even with all the cars that I do in one person, I can't pull that along with paying for our house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like we're buying our house too. And I got a hold of 2 of my buddies at the time, and I was like, hey, like, the opportunity's there. You guys want to go in on it? What's the cost? And I was like, 60 G's, $1,000 a month, 10 grand up front. And then we flunked on the 10 grand. And then after a year, he was like, the owner was like, come up with like 4 grand. You're kidding. No, come up 4 grand. We'll do a rent to own. You know, give me $1,000 a month, whatever. It's like, I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Damn.
Okay, we're doing this.
Say less, no more.
Seriously,
let's get to it. Yeah,
man. Yeah, I got paid from a job, and I think I took like 3 grand out of that, and I was like, this is gonna probably be the ass later, but we got to do this now. And they came up with the other 2 grand, and here we are.
Made it happen.
You know.
Hell yeah.
And like I went from this is my foreman when I was working for the labor's union. And he was like, you're not gonna make the same amount of money that you're making here. I was like, yeah, well. I was like, I'm late to work because I work at night. I work on these fucking Z's. You know, because I would daily drive a Z to the job. So they'd be like, why don't you have a truck?
Like everybody else.
Like, why would I want a truck? I have a fucking Z, you know? Like, I would drive to work and I'd be late and I'd be like 100 plus, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
you know?
just hauling.
Yeah, exactly. But that kind of stuck with me, and I was like, fuck you, like, I'll show you.
Yeah, I'll show you.
And then I ended up seeing them like a year or so later, you know, on the site, on a different job site. And I was like, hey, I'm here to pick up this truck for somebody because I need it fixed. You know, he was like, oh, what are you doing nowadays? What I said
exactly,
I was
what
you
exactly.
know? And he was like, really? You making decent money? I was like, I make enough. I'm like, we bought our house. We're buying the shop. I have a bunch of these fucking Z's. You tell me, am I doing good or not?
Yeah.
You know, and it's
like a slap to the face.
Okay, whatever, you know.
That's always nice. The revenge part about things is when someone always doubts you, I guess, and then you come back and like, hey.
Well,
man.
I mean, in this country, in a sense, it's kind of set up for that because like people love the rags to riches story.
Oh yeah.
Everybody does, you know.
Yeah.
And like,
it's always an amazing story.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, me growing up with like being raised by a single mother, you know, now it's my turn to like take care of her. She did that all her life, and now I have my family. Like I have 2 daughters too, you know, and my wife, and I'm only 26, 27 years old, and we're buying our house, and we have 8 acres of land. You know, granted that was because of our 2, you know, buddies that helped out, but like it's an ever growing thing.
Yeah.
You know, people know my fucking name. Like that's crazy. I never thought that would happen. You know.
And the thing is, I feel like the most badass thing about it is that like you inspired me, and for me having nobody around to teach me things, kind of in that sense, I guess, kind of like in a mentor way, I guess, speaking. Like you were always there with me, but I always felt like, all right, well, if I were to hit up Bryan, how would it be? Or if before I asked Bryan, I should, you know, it would prepare me to be like, okay, well, settle out my shit first before I ask him. So I'm not a nag. So I'm not just nagging.
Like kind of like exhaust all your other options before you
before I come, like you were like my last option, and you were always that last option where it was like, all right, damn it, all right, Bryan, what is it? You know, and then you were just so full of wisdom, bro. It's easy. Like it's just like crazy.
And it's
you know?
like sometimes when people hit me up, like I don't have all the answers. You know, like I know these cars in and out, but I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
So like I have my own people I look up to. You know, like hey, you know, hit up our buddy Steve Frisbee. You know, he's also a huge Z person too. You know, he's older. Hey, I have a question about this, and he'd be like, oh well, you know, go here, read this real quick. All right, cool. And then I'd give somebody else the answer. You know, or I have another friend down in California, Charles. He's super knowledgeable on these cars too. Like, hey, I did this, and this, but I think I fucked something up. He's like, oh no, just do this, you know.
Yeah. Oh, this is where it was at.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You know, he'll show me a different way to do it.
Hell yeah.
So it's like I don't have all the answers, but I know where to get them. You know, and if I don't have them, I know where to steer you in the right direction.
Hell yeah. And that's what
I'm not going to tell you to get fucked or anything. You know.
Like yeah.
I don't know.
Well, speaking, I guess about your shop, like. Where's it at? Location? If you're looking for new Z's, new projects up and coming, where can we find you at?
Well, I'm my address is 1537 Ocean Beach Road in Hoquiam, Washington. Like when you look it up, you're like, where the fuck is this? You know.
Yeah.
But it's cool because we're I think we're like 20 minutes outside of town, like out kind of in a woodsy area. Our neighbors are pretty cool. We have the whole front of the property's paved, so we have 3 buildings, and then we have like this giant empty lot that we use as a skip pad.
Oh yeah.
So, like the neighbors aren't too happy with us doing donuts and burnouts, but as long as we're not doing it on the street, you know, like on my property.
Yeah.
Like the sheriff got called, I think, once. He's like, "You guys are doing donuts and burnouts." I was like, "I'm on my property though, bro. Like, you can't say anything."
Yeah. And they didn't tell you nothing?
No, they're like, "All right, I guess you're not wrong."
You're not wrong,
yeah,
bro.
they're like, just don't like shoot rocks out onto the road or anything. I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, of course, you know, being safe about it." But it's pretty cool, like how far we've come from where we started. Like it's pretty dope.
Oh yeah.
And at one point, I was like, "I made it," and then I was like, "No, I didn't. Like I'm not
there yet."
Like I'm there, but I always want more, and it's
Yeah.
like a mindset thing, you know. Like it's like cool, I got the shop and everything, but people don't realize like it's. I guess I haven't made it, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's just that constant feeling of like achievement, but all right, what's my next challenge? Like,
exactly.
what's my
Like
next?
you always want more because you just got there. You like, all right, I crushed one goal. You know, what's the next one?
What's next and what's next?
You know? Like now I have a car in there that was actually it was built by one of my idols, by Matt Poole, and the gentleman moved up here from Northern California. And he's like, "Well, you're the guy to go to apparently. You know, I want this, and this. Pull the motor. It's gonna get sent off to I think it's Z-Shack where the motor's going to once I pull it. You know." And he's just like, "What can you do?" And then I asked him a little bit about cars. He's like, "Oh, Matt Poole helped build it and this, that." And I was like, "Oh my god! Like my idol built this car and now it's in my shop. Like I really got to live up to the expectations, you know? Like hell yeah! Like that's a pretty cool challenge." My buddy Bryan, we have his Z in there now too, and he ended up buying the Ashbeck Plenum that everybody rants and raves about. Yeah.
That nobody has yet.
He has them. He has 2 of them, dude.
Oh.
He has 2 of them.
Jeez.
I think it took like 2.5, 3 years to get them.
Damn.
I think there's 3 total that I know of in Washington State right now.
Really?
And one of them we're putting on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it'll be cool to see what the difference is in power.
Oh yeah, because I heard that one didn't it just open up the ports more, and then obviously it just made it.
It's supposed to flow air
better.
a lot better into it. It resembles almost like a GTR Plenum. I guess the dyno sheet was reading like 100 extra horsepower. Some people since then have said that like it's bullshit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we'll see for ourselves.
Ooh, that's always nice.
So it'll be cool once it's done.
Yeah.
You know, I went from just putting in stock twin turbo swaps to actually, you know, putting in some performance parts now.
Hell yeah.
So we've come a long ways.
Yeah.
There's more to come.
There's always more to come.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming by here.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate the 6-hour drive that you took. Cause goddamn, that's
6-hour drive back.
That's some Jesus, bro. Well, safe travels, bro.
Yeah.
Like always, appreciate it. Thank you. Like this means a lot. Just because, like for instance, like I said, my sister always liked it about my Z, and she was like, "Oh, when am I gonna find one? When am I gonna find one?" I'm scrolling down Facebook. Oh,
yeah.
Bryan Ochoa. Hey, I'm getting rid of my interior. It's the Alcantara. Like, hey, Brisa, hey.
I want it, man.
She's like, buy it right now. I don't know what it is, just buy it. I was like, all right, hey, Bryan, I need it.
Yep.
Here's cash. Boom. This is what I need.
Yep.
But yeah, man, appreciate it. Thank you again.
Yeah,
and
no
like I said, hope
to
to meet
finally
up
you
again.
in person.
And seriously, bro, this is the first time, and God, it was an amazing one. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna be watching this video, bro. And I'm just gonna be like, hell yeah,
Smiling.
yeah, hell yeah, you know.